Police in Hong Kong have arrested media tycoon Jimmy Lai, an outspoken critic of China's policies in Hong Kong. A top aide said Lai is being held over suspected collusion with foreign forces under the controversial national security law imposed by Beijing in June. The 71-year-old owns popular tabloid Apple Daily. He's one of 7 people police said they arrested during raids on Monday. Well, for the very latest, let's cross over to Hong Kong, where our correspondent Phoebe Kong is standing by. Phoebe, this is the most high-profile arrest so far under the new security law imposed by Beijing. What more can you tell us?
The operation is wide-ranging today. Not only Jimmy Lai was under arrest, but also a number of senior management staff were arrested as well for charges relating to committing fraud. So while we don't have much details about the accusation, but the operation today is huge. Police have deployed a huge number of officers to conduct the raid. Hundreds of officers are now working inside the media headquarters, and it's expected to last for a while for the rest of the day. And also outside the premises, we heard that a number of media, including foreign media like many news agencies, were blocked by the police from reporting outside the building and also to attend a presser. So we can have a sense of how the intense atmosphere we have today, and especially many think this could be alarm to the press freedom in Hong Kong.
So this sounds like part of a wider crackdown on the media. Tell us more about who exactly Jimmy Lai is and why his arrest is so important.
Well, Jimmy Lai is a media tycoon who owns and founded Apple Daily newspaper, which is the largest local media organization which is critical of the government, and also not only the Hong Kong government but also the Beijing government. So Jimmy Lai himself, personally, he is outspoken about his political stance. He's often attend rallies and protests on his own capacity. He has also been arrested for other charges relating to protests and demonstrations before. But this time he was arrested under the national security law, and he's the most high-profile arrestee so far. And but for the Apple Daily organization, it has long been criticized by the state media of Beijing and authorities that they are accusing the government and blaming the government for many social problems. So they are definitely, for that case, not so welcomed by the authorities.
Now, the police raid on Jimmy Lai's offices were live streamed. How are people in Hong Kong reacting to the news of his arrest?
Well, this is definitely a piece of shocking news to many in Hong Kong. Although it's widely expected that Jimmy Lai would be targeted under the national security law, as Beijing authority and the state media has already stated earlier that Jimmy Lai is suspected of committing some of the offences under the security law. But today we see the spectrum and the scope of the operation that shocked many people. And the Journalists Association in Hong Kong, the chairman have condemned the operation and saying that it could send a more serious chilling effect across the city, especially to the journalists, that even for those who were not arrested today, but they may be afraid to speak out in the future.
Phoebe, thank you very much for that update. That's our correspondent Phoebe Kong in Hong Kong.
Publishing books in Hong Kong hasn't been easy for a while, especially one about last year's protests. For publisher Raymond Yeung, the new Chinese security law has changed everything about his current project, a collection of articles written by thousands of people who took part in the demonstrations. Raymond and his team have been taking out words and pictures that could cross the red line. They have even changed the book cover. These texts on pages mark some of the so-called taboos.
Most of the political slogans were removed, such as the popular protest slogan, Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times, which has recently been declared illegal. We also deleted the paragraphs which may advocate or imply secession. But no one can tell us how exactly the red line is drawn, not even lawyers. It's the most painful project I've done.
The book was to have been published 2 months ago, but that still hasn't happened as 5 printers have rejected it because of the sensitivity. Some asked Raymond to change part of the content that rarely happened in the past. Distributors and bookstores also turned it down. Beijing's sweeping law is not only deterring new publications, but it's also affecting older ones. Jimmy Pang, a veteran publisher who has worked in the industry for over 3 decades, has also felt its effects. He has suspended further publication of a book released last year to mark the 30th anniversary of the Tiananmen Square crackdown. The remaining copies won't be put on display at book fairs anymore.
This is the biggest crisis facing the whole industry. Everyone is anxious. We don't want to be revolutionaries, but to uphold free speech and promote knowledge. What quality do our citizens have if diversity and enlightening ideologies vanish? That's hard to restore once they are lost.
What's going on in Hong Kong is more than self-censorship. At least 9 books written by opposition figures have been removed from public libraries in order to review whether they breach the new law. Schools have also been ordered to do the same if any textbook is seen as possibly illegal. A growing number of Hong Kong authors, publishers, and bookstores are moving their businesses abroad. Neither Jimmy Pang nor Raymond Yang are ready to quit. Raymond's book is called To Freedom. That's what he wants to practice, despite the challenges.
It's frustrating, but I will try to publish it in Hong Kong. This book itself is a form of resistance. The only way to keep the freedom of publication alive is to exercise it here, and not to abandon the rights we deserve.
But he's in a minority. Many more people in Hong Kong are observing the situation from the sidelines, too fearful now of Beijing's clout to speak up.